fundamentals and overall looking to the charts as well. So what topic do we talking about? We're talking about the credit card debt, the personal savings, and then of course we will look at some interesting charts, more likely as well some on-chain data as well. So let's get started. So first of all, what do we saw in the Fed balance sheet? We saw that we came down as well in the Fed balance sheet. As I said on my previous week, we are not in quantitative easing, we are not printing money. And here we see as well what money came down. So we see combined Fed discount window is coming lower. The Fed discount window usage is come lower as well. And then the Fed Bank Term Funding Program usage is coming higher. But overall, this Fed Bank Term Funding Program is not generating a quantitative easing or a higher rate on the balance sheet. So overall, the Fed is just cutting more money, as we talked about that previous week as well. If we're checking, here's some interesting news, and I said that the last time. This is a really interesting company or Twitter account because they're posting interesting charts. And here you see the US personal saving rate skyrocketed on the pandemic, right? And why was it like that? Because we printed a lot of money and we got a lot of new money into the market. But as we see right now, we are just stumping very quick on the personal savings rate. And if we're checking here the consequences or the consecutive months of a 5% high inflation, we see that we had 2020 in 2022, the inflation rate was the highest since 1980, and it's still far away to get back to the 2%. And the question is, are we getting very soon back to the 2%? And as well, we saw that the rise of the interest rates was the fastest that we ever had. And as the savings rate declines, the credit card debt is skyrocketing. In Q4 2022, US credit card debt jumped by 61 billion to, and now listen, to 986 billion. This is the biggest jump since 1999. In Q1 2022, total US credit card debt is expected to pass 1 trillion for the first time ever, which is crazy. And again, savings rate are very low, and if you do that all on credit card debt, this has never a good ending. When comparing the personal savings rate to the credit card debt, it's alarming to say the least, because you see right now the personal savings here in 2020 was high, but the consumer loans went lower, right? But you see right now how crazy the divergence is between them both. And every time again, we have this kind of divergence, we could see a crash in the market. And along with the credit card debt interest rate hit the highest since 1985, credit card debt interest rates skyrocketed, Americans feeling even more pressure. Many are paying 25% on their credit card debt. So imagine 25% on their credit card debt. This is absolutely crazy to see that. And personal saving rates are falling and credit card debt is rising, but this isn't just because consumers are spending irresponsibly. Basic necessities have soared in price. Over the last year, food prices are up 10%, electricity is up by 13%, and airline fares are up to 27%. So, to sum up everything, lower savings rate since 2008, highest credit card debt of all time, 22 straight months of 5% inflation, fastest rising interests of all times, and consumers fighting inflation with debt. The question is, what's the odds of a recession, to see a recession? And if we're looking to some interesting charts, we could see that the AAII are predicting a move to the downside more likely, so they are more pessimistic. And we see as well the percentage of S&P 500 members outperforming the index are just by 25, which is very, very low, and which means as well that we might have a top in the market. Because just remember the dates at 2000, 1973, and 1979. If we're comparing it to the same we have right now, let's comparing it 2002. We have the Fed tightening, so the increase of interest rates, so the monetary policy is tightening, the unemployment rate is rising, and we had an inward yield curve, and that leads to a crash in the market. So every time the Fed was pausing, we had a low unemployment rate, and then the unemployment rate was rising and the market was falling. And we see the same situation at 1973 as before. We saw that before. We had the Fed tightening, so the monetary policy was tightening. We decreased the balance sheet. The unemployment rate was rising, and the inverted yield curve was inverted and very, very low. And this was when we saw the crash in the markets. And here's the same, Fed pivot, and we had the unemployment rate rising. Same situation here at 1929. We had the Fed tightening, so the monetary policy again was tightening. We reduced our balance sheet, the unemployment rate was rising, and the yield curve was again negative. And this was leading to a crash in the market again. So every time we see that, 1929, recession, following 1973 we had a recession, 2002 we had a recession, and we have similar things to the market right now. So if we're seeing it right now, we have low unemployment rate, the Fed is nearly to pivot, and we have a really low, I think this is the lowest inverted yield curve what we ever had, and this is again yield to going to see the crash in the market. And if you see as well the jobs opening inverted, so normally it goes lower, we see unemployment rate coming higher, and you see it's rising here again, the jobs opening, which means that we normally see again a rise in unemployment rate. And yeah, as you all times see, market all times crashes, and it's all times the same when we see a rise of unemployment rate. Then we see the market is crashing. And yeah, coming to some interesting Bitcoin on-chain data, we have here the first times when the options open interest is higher than the futures open interest. And every time when we had a high open interest in options, we had the top in the market as well. And yeah, just to let you know that as well. Here about BNB, the pool what Binance had opened to fund people as a security, it was at 1 billion, and right now it's just back to 41 million. And so the question is what I expect for quarter two, right? Because it's super important. We saw a really big hype in quarter one, especially when we had really bad news. But big entities was buying. So we had Binance who was buying BTCs and cryptos. We had Michael Saylor who bought some cryptos, and overall we had a lot of short liquidations in the market as well. And the question is, who is buying right now as well? And if we have some interesting events, and we have first the Mt. Gox event, which give us some sell pressures as well. I know that Grayscale has to pay back the credits to Genesis, which is as well I think next month, which will be interesting as well to see. Because if they can't pay the back, maybe they already make some profits over the rise of BTC in the past weeks or past months. But this will be interesting. And on the 12th of April, we see the update on Ethereum, and then we could see a sell-off of the staked ETH. But of course, it will be not this 18 million. We have to reduce them by the staked through Lido. And so we have overall, I think, 7 million ETH. But again, they made it like that in the first days you can just sell your staking profits you make, and then this as well daily by 1 million, I think was it, and then in the end you can just sell 51,000 ETH per day after that 5 days. So we have a kind of a little sell off, but I think it's not that dramatically. As if we see, we don't even have much people who are in profit regarding to the price. So only 28% are in profit who staked an ETH. Let's talk about some interesting charts, and this is this one. So what do we have? Did we see some interesting parts since last week? Let me make the 1 hour chart. And overall, we don't see much. So spot is still selling, and CVD spots are selling as well. This is with Binance. On Binance, this is aggregated, so on all platform we are selling. But we see that spot is buying with real USD dollars, so with USD, and futures are as well going overall to the downside as well. So nothing special over there. If we checking right now, so if we checking this one, we see Binance is selling overall spot. What are the other doing? So Bitfinex is selling as well spot. So we have to see Bybit is selling as well on spot. We can see that here as well, chart layout. And then we see Bybit is as well selling on spot, but now crazy Coinbase has to cranking it up, and Coinbase is really pushing hard on Coinbase and buying a lot of spots. So we know institutions are buying on Binance, so the big people are coming in. And then we have as well Bitstamp. Bitstamp is went higher, and now they are reducing spot as well. And let's see what we have on the next one. This is Kraken, and Kraken is as well going sideways on spot, and on the spot, yeah, overall it's going lower as well. So interesting there as well. And if we coming to some interesting charts as well, let me load this one. So if we have some liquidations, we see right now a lot of new shorts coming into the market. You see that the open interest went higher, right? And the open interest in coin margin coins went higher. And you see that the funding rate, so in futures, selling positions are coming into the market, and you see that the funding rate is coming lower as well. So we had some short positions coming into it. What can we expect for the next week? Next week, we have some interesting things. We get CPI data on Wednesday, which will be very, very important. We get core CPI data. We get the FOMC meeting minutes. I don't think that we get something important there. Then we have the GDP data, but just month to month. And then we got the PPI data, unemployment claims, retail sales. So very, very important information. Because of the last NFP data, we now expecting again a 25 basis point change. Which is crazy if we're gonna do that, because imagine how much the impact will be for the banks if we have still another rate hike. But yeah, let's talk about some liquidation levels, and we find them here. So BTC has still this liquidation level here at 29,400. If we're checking this one, you see we have a lot of short liquidations which could come in. So these are all short liquidations, and you see we have a lot of short liquidations above the price at 29,000 over there. If we're checking ETH, so let's run ETH right now at the moment. You see we have again as well a lot of short liquidations possible on ETH. So which is interesting as well to see. Let me move that a little bit to the side. And then, yeah, we see again some big short liquidations over there. If we're looking at the liquidity heat map, we see in the past 7 days we had a lot of stops here, so liquidations will be a lot here at 29,000. Yeah, exactly at 29,000, and we have some here at 27,500, and here at 26,000 or 27,000, and here at 25,000. So there's still the possibility to go even lower. If we're checking ETH, we see ETH not much has any more to the upside. We have here one at 1,800 and one at 1,500. So these are the levels for ETH for the liquidations. If we're checking the open interest positions, we see that we have in the last, let me check the last months on Binance, because we had here, as you see, we had here some good short positions. We have here some good short positions. So interesting zone will be here at this price down below at 27,250, because here we have a lot of shorts, and this is acting as support because these shorts want to go out of their positions. So this will be really interesting to watch. And of course, here as well, this level is interesting at 28,350, because here we have a lot of longs, 18 million longs over there. And again, if the market is coming back to this price, this is acting as resistance. So if we're checking ETH one time, let's see what we see over there. You see we have a lot of shorts over there. So acting as resistance as 1,715, and as well a lot of shorts there. And if we're checking the market here, we just got some new longs over this price here. And this is at 1,865. So this will act as resistance if we're coming back to this. But above, we have some shorts as well. So it's possible that we're coming higher to clean the shorts, because we have here, how much shorts we have? We have 175,000 ETH short, and here we have 216,000 ETH short. So this is very, very interesting. And yeah, coming here to my liquidation levels on BTC, we see a lot of walls above, not much walls below, so possibility that we go lower. And yeah, as well on futures, there's not much. If we're checking ETH, we have a lot of walls on the downside here. Look at this one, 1,700. And on spot, we have as well this big wall where we might come to 1,700. For the months, which will be interesting maybe for you as well, let me show it to you. So first of all, this is the week. You see we have here still this big imbalance, this green line, and we still have a lot of buying tails which we have to take out. So a lot of sell side liquidity on the downside. We still have some on the upside. This one, but as you see, we already finished this one. Everything is taking out, but we have some on the upside here at 2,000, around 2,000, but we have definitely a lot of levels to the downside. So on the weekly side, it looks really, really promising on ETH for the downside. If you're checking ETH on the monthly side, we still have this level at 20,000 where we could go through. Interesting will be if we get a close below 1,811, and staying below this level is negative for the market, so we can go even lower. Same situation here. Look at how many levels we have to the downside. So again here, the possible that we go lower is pretty high. We still have some VPOCs here. I don't think that we will go to these levels, but there's a lot, as you see. We have a lot of clustering down there. But the single prints should be taken out very soon. If we're checking that, you see all the single prints are getting out from the market. So we normally coming all times back to the single prints, and we have here some single prints over there and some over 800. which is interesting as well. So checking right now this one, BTC as well, has some buying tails on the upside, but as well some single prints on the downside, so we can still take them out as well, which will be around 17,000. Below we have nothing. We clearly took out everything. So well, let me check if I even activating that. No, I didn't. Oh yeah, I showed. No, I didn't show naked ones. So we still have this naked ones here open, what we can take out. So very, very interesting. As you see, we took out the big ones here and nothing really left on the upside. So it will be interesting to see what we kind of get. But I think the next move will be here to the single print, inside the single print here to 23,000. And this is acting as big support and resistance zone. For the months, what do we have for the months? We have first the VWAP, which is jumping into my eye, and as well the single prints on the downside here at 17,000, same what we had before. And as you see, this was acting as perfect support resistance, and now we still have some left, and we have some big imbalances left on. No, this is auch selling tail, I guess. Yeah, buying tail. Yeah, okay, we have some buying tails here left. Not much imbalance, actually. Imbalance are not that much. Let me go to 5 million. If we see some. No, actually not much. Let me see if I make them naked. Yeah. And I want to see as well will. Okay. Yeah, we don't have much. As you see here, we had some there. Market came back to it. We had some there. Market all times coming back to them. We have a lot of the upside. Here at 60,000 we have a lot. But on the downside we don't have much actually. If we're checking, all the tails went away. So yeah. But again, interesting, the single print C at 12,000, where we have this big level where the market could go. So the big level here at 11,000, 12,000, this is where I think the market could end up. So yeah, that's to that. Let's check the market overall. What is interesting is this chart. So if you're checking this chart, this is actually really interesting. So you might see that already. So we had, when we broke this low, let me take the black color. So when we broke this bottom here, right, then we needed 28 days to break the market structure change, right? And then we reversed from that and then went higher again. So we have the same situation right now. Market broke. Here we have the market structure change high, right? And in 28 days, we should break to this side. But again, I don't think that we're gonna see that, because if you remember it, we had this kind of scenario here, so this thing, and it was looking similar to this thing, even on the same months. So we had November broke through this, broke through that, and we had as well November, which broke through that. So we've been on the same date as well, but in the end, because everyone was predicting a falling market, the market went higher, right? And I think we have the same situation. Everyone is waiting for this breakout to the upside, and now everyone is buying, but I don't see that coming, because then we would see this reversal to the downside. So pretty interesting. So I don't think that we're gonna see this playing out similar to this one, and that we're more likely to see next move to the downside. But if we staying above the 19,600 level, then I still think it's more likely to bullish and more potential to come back to this level here at 34,000. at this fair value gap. But actually I like more to see the downside, but maybe because I just don't have any Bitcoins, because I didn't bought any here. But let's coming to the S&P 500. So what do we see at the S&P 500? We said the prediction for the S&P 500 is still going to the golden pocket. Market went higher. Then we came back to, I think it was here. Was it here? Yeah. We came exactly back to this level here. And yeah, so I still think that we might go to this level, or definitely go to this level, because I still don't see that we have the top in the S&P 500. I still think that we might push higher, which might be as well a reason why Bitcoin and crypto could go higher. Same situation here, and at the Nasdaq. Nasdaq could go higher, but I don't think that we might go the same like the S&P 500. If we're looking at the BTC, now I have to turn on every indicator here. No, I don't want that. No, this was not correct. I don't want that. So yeah, if we're looking at this one, we have again this CME gap here. So we might go to this one, but we watched that as well already on the other charts. Overall, the monthly and the monthly VWAP is pushing the market to the downside. The weekly VWAP is pushing the market as well to the downside. So we might go into this sell side liquidity at 27,644, and then the question will be, what are we doing over there? If we're checking back this chart, do we have something over there? Yeah, we took out this high, which was not a strong high, and we still have this highs here, which is as well where we don't have a selling tail. So this is a poor high. We might take that out as well. And yeah, on the downside, we don't see much left for selling tail. So you see every day has a selling tail, or in this case a buying tail on the buy side. You see it was a nice time to buy here, nice time to buy there. And yeah, there's still something open. We didn't have this one here, so possibility to go to this level. But overall, I still think for today the market might go lower as well, because we played out a nice CVD game. So you see we have here a high, we made a higher high here, but the CVD didn't make any higher high, means a lot of limit orders came into the market to short the market over there. I tried it myself, but actually I didn't got an entry. As you might see, you could see it here actually. You see it here, I had a limit order over there, but market didn't allow me to come there. So yeah, unlucky. Coming back to ETH, what do I think for ETH? Same situation. Monthly and weekly are pushing market to the downside. If we get a close below this level here, or even this level, which will be interesting, at the 1,800 level, then we might see a shift on the volume area, and we might going to, again, to this monthly pivot at 1,682, and then to this VWAP, yearly VWAP. And yeah, so this will be interesting to see it and to play out if we get the close below 1,800, and then we could and might expect lower levels. Actually, as you see here, BNB is just touching every time again the pivot point of the month, but we going lower and lower and lower and lower, so it's just a matter of time when we crash to the downside. So again, BNB absolutely negative for me, and still more to the downside. And same situation here at ADA. ADA for me, we might see a breakout of the chart. Market is still going like this. I hope to see first a little break to the upside and then to the downside, because here we see as well the monthly VWAP and the weekly VWAP pushing market to the downside. Market all times react negative on it. And yeah, I still think that we might see some moves to the downside. If we're checking some altcoins, nothing special over there. You saw perfect retrace on VHR. VChain still have this level open. AVAX has this level open. Quant has this level open, and Quant still going lower and lower, as I was predicting that the last time. And Solana just hit his level on the downside. And yeah, Matic I just want to see finally the close below 1000 at 1.05 to go lower on Matic. But Matic is holding strong as well. So yeah, overall, market looks for me more to the downside. Interesting will be next week what we get for the data. If we're checking again volume-wise, I still think that we have more likely more moves to the downside and expect to the upside. And yeah, but of course it will be interesting if we might see some liquidations or some if a lot of new shorts coming in, then I would be scared to short the market as well, because then I wouldn't do that. So just check on chain if we see more shorts or not, and then yeah, you will be fine. I think don't join the big group. All times go with the other group, and that's very important. And you see that here market is coming high, but we see a lot of limit orders pushing the market to the downside. That's why the CFD to the upside is not rising higher, because we have all times limit orders which are putting shorts to the downside. So yeah, that's to that, and I hope you have a wonderful day. And if there are still some questions, feel free to ask them in the videos down below every time when I try to upload daily. So just post a commentary and then I can help you there as well. So have a great day, and I wish